Everyone, I'm Nida Ahmed, and I will be presenting SAP HR reporting today. I will just make you go through some slides talking about what reports are, how they're important, and how we go into the system to actually generate them. I have some screenshots put together too, just to show you the steps, which we will later on do on the SAP system. So, first of all, I would like to explain what a report is. So it's basically a tool which is used to record and analyze data, to draw conclusions or to draw statistical evaluations on. In today's world, it is HR administrators are, they are faced with large volumes of employee data information that needs to be recorded and analyzed, and that needs to be stored. So they have to take all of that in a report, and if a report is generated in front of them, it would be easier for them to see all the personnel data, the employee information that is coming in the company. So this slide shows us the reports that are in SAP HR. For today's topic, I chose only two. One is the standard report, and the other is through the ad hoc query. So reports, the standard report, as the name indicates, is a report that is generated on the basic general standard SAP structure for reports. The ad hoc query is in the reporting structure. We can use the ad hoc query to enable us to create and customize reports. Ad hoc query is integrated into SAP query, while later when I go into the system, we will go through steps. We will define some of the steps in the SAP query, and then we will move on to the ad hoc query to customize it. Ad hoc query is called InfoSet query in other R3 components, whereas it is known as the ad hoc query in the HR module. Other components could be finance, etc. So this brings us to the first screenshot for the standard reports. This is the menu path from the Easy Access menu, SAP Easy Access menu, through which you go to create the standard report. First of all, we go to the HR, and from there into the information system. And from there we go on to employee here. And today the report type that I chose today was for employee list, which is shown here. This is the first initial screen for the report selection that I made right now. And so we can see it is divided into three parts: period, selection, and report specific selections. Period is, of course, when do you want to generate this report? What time period do you want to give the report for? Should it be today or current month? Could it be current year or up to today, from today onwards? That depends on the manager, what time period he is looking at. Then there is the selection area where we have the personnel number, the employee status, personnel area, sub-area, employee group, and subgroup. These are the specifications. Again, in the third section, there is report specific selections, and it further specifies the report, what you want to. So this is the report that was generated upon the selection criteria from the previous. If we want to move, for example, this column over here, we can do that just to change the outlay of the report. And in the end, we just save the query if for later use, if you want to revert back to it and create the same report again. So with this, I come to the end of my presentation. Thank you. So now we're going to go into the SAP system. Over here, I just put in my user and my password to log in. So this is the SAP Easy Access menu. We look for HR, and then we look for personnel management, administration, tools, and employee list. So this is our first selection screen that we've come to. We're going to specify the period here today. We're going to specify the selection criteria over here. So I'm going to put in the personnel area. We're going to select LA. Then the personnel sub area for LA is right here. Then we select the employee group, active 1, and the employee subgroup. So we're going to select U4 for salaried employees. Right here, and we select it. So, and this for both genders. So the list is going to come up for both genders for the employees, and we execute it. So here's the list that is generated on the basis of the standard report structure in SAP. Right here, we have around the number of selected employees is 82. Now we go back, and So we get the employee list here. It has a number of selected employees, which are 82. Now we go back, and we want to get a variant. So we go over here, get variant. It's created by, this is my user, which is showing here. Execute it. It is shown here in the variant catalog. Go to save as variant, and we give it a name. So it will be EMP list 42. Long name for it. The description for the employee list 42. Then we want to protect the variant, and we can use these fields to either protect the fields or hide the fields. So what I can do is hide one of the fields and then see if it is hidden in the report. We go into personnel area. Right here, personnel area, and we hide field. So now we save it. So if you see right here in the selection area, there was personnel area on top of sub area. It is hidden, so we can only see the personnel sub area, the employee group, and the employee subgroup. So that is what is happening at the back end. And this is how we generate the standard report. Coming back to the SAP Easy Access. So now I'm going to create a report through SAP query and ad hoc query for a company, Verizon. And we're going to start off in the SAP Easy Access menu right here. Again, we're going to go to HR, and then we're going to go into Information System. So in HR, Information System, and right here are the reporting tools. So if you see here, there's the ad hoc query, and that is the SAP query. So we're going to start off with the SAP query. We go into the screen. we specify a query name for Verizon. So it's going to be EE. I'm on the initial screen for the SAP query. I'm going to go into environment and create the user group. So right here we have the user group. Let me give it a name such as EE Verizon 42, since that's my user number, and I go to create. Right here I have to give a long text for it, so it's going to be employee list for Verizon for my user. Save. So it took us to create object directory entry, and over here it's a package that I have to specify $temp, which actually is for training purposes. So I'm just going to put this in there and save. Now I'm going to go back into environment. The user group has been created already. I'm going to go to the second step, that is creating info sets. So right here I'm going to specify a name for the info sets. EE Verizon and info. I also want to specify this is the info set 42, again my user. So right here I'm going to go on to create. I have to specify the name, info set, go back, Verizon, info set 42, and I'm going to select the logical database right here. So I'm going to look for PNP, which I know is the HR master data in this system right here, and I'm going to select it, enter. Okay, so these are the info types now which are available in front of me, and I can choose which of these I require in my report for display. So I go into actions and I check that I want organizational assignment. Then I go to employee contract data and I put in personnel data. Then I go down and put basic pay. So we are actually generating a list of employees with their personnel data and their pays. So basic pay, and we also need their payroll status, and that's about it that I require. So I'll go and I'll generate choose them first. So right here I have the screen for my info sets, and I can further go into selecting them. Our info type fields here, we generate them. Okay, so I should just save it again. Generated. Right here, it's telling me that the info set was generated for 42, user 42. So now we go back 2-3 steps, and we have to assign the info sets to the user group. So go back from the screen. Over here, where we assign the user group, we see there is an option to assign users and info sets. We click on that. So my user group has been selected over here, and over here we're just going to assign the info sets. I have to select my info set here, the correct info set to assign to the user group. Alright, so I'm just going to go down and search for the info set which I created for Verizon. Yeah, right here. So it's AE Verizon InfoSet 42. So I select it and I enter and save. It has been saved, so I've got the message here. So the user group and info sets have been assigned now. Now I go back to SAP Easy Access menu and I go to ad hoc query. So now we move on to ad hoc query. We've just come back to the SAP Easy Access menu. We go to ad hoc query. So now here we have a dialog box, and we're going to specify the work area we're going to use as a standard area, client specific, and we choose the user group. So I'm going to choose my user group from here. We're looking for EE Verizon. So here's the user group for Verizon that I created, and as soon as I enter it, we have the info set right here assigned to it. We go to enter and continue. So right here we have all the fields where we can now specify them to be in the selection or the output field. We go to actions, we have the personnel number. We want that as output in our report. Then we have action type. We're going to put that in the output. Looking at the list, we go down. We go to organizational assignment. We have personnel area. We put that in the output. Since we want that for the employees, the employee group, the employee subgroup, and the personnel sub area. So these are the things that we want to put in there. We also want the employee's last name. So we add that in our columns. We go to personnel data, and we can pick the first name as output. Then we go to basic pay, and we specify the pay scale area. We take that as output. Wage type. And we want the salary percent in range. No, we want the annual salary, sorry. So we take that as the output. So taking all these, we go and here we want to specify our report according to the personnel area, select it and take the personnel area as the selection criteria. So we select it as and check mark the selection box over here, and right here we want to specify it for LA. We go to hit list. Let's check over here and select it from here. So Los Angeles, right here is the value, and we go to hit list and it shows us the results, 128 persons. And then we refresh it here, we refresh the data. And now we have the personnel and all the information right over here in front of us. Now what we do is go and select output. So this is the report that we generated from ad hoc query. So right here we have the end result of the report that we wanted to generate through ad hoc query and SAP query. It's right in front of us. We have the personnel numbers, we have the last name, first name, column, the action type, the employee group and subgroup, and the personnel area, and pay scale area. And then in the end we have the annual salary and the currency. So this is what we wanted to generate, going through into the steps from SAP query and ad hoc query, and we have the end result.